responded to the struggles of their run defense in the absence of injured rookie Jordan Davis. Philadelphia signed defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh today to a one-year deal. He's the second defensive tackle Philly signed in back-to-back days. They brought in Linval Joseph yesterday. NFL Week 11 starts tonight when the Packers host the Titans. The last time the teams met, Green Bay won by 26 at Lambeau Field. Don't expect another blowout tonight, though, believes Titans radio network analyst and four-time Pro Bowler Blaine Bishop.
I think that's really what's going to happen in this game. I think whatever quarterback, and you got to lean towards Aaron Rodgers being with his resume, can make more plays, are going to win this game. Naturally, both teams are going to try to run the football. That travels well, even in bad weather, but I think this is going to be a close one. It's going to come down to the wire.
Blaine Bishop on Barton Hahn. WNBA star Brittany Griner has begun serving her 9-year sentence for drug possession at a Russian penal colony about 200 miles east of Moscow. Penal colonies are known for having far harsher conditions than the Moscow jail where Griner had been since her detainment in February.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ryan Clark in about 15 minutes. Our Fantasy Blitz later this hour. We'll head over to Birmingham, chat with Evan Dudley, who covers UAB for AL.com. Paul Nolan in hour 2. We'll have Mike Triplett here in hour 3. Man, we are locked, loaded, an absolute ton to do, and we'll get to all of it. Sometimes over the course of an NFL season, 17 games, 18 weeks. It's like sometimes the breaks fall your way, and sometimes they don't. For example, in the COVID year, when the Saints went and played at Denver, again, a game that you play every fourth season, you'd play the Broncos. You ended up playing a quarterback that was actually a practice squad wide receiver. You caught a break that day. Flip side of it is when the Saints hosted Miami last year, Miami caught a break. COVID ravaged New Orleans, and you end up starting Ian Book at quarterback. You had dudes in the locker room introducing themselves to each other. That's how dire the situation was for the Saints on that Monday night game against Miami. So sometimes the breaks go your way, and sometimes they do not. The challenging thing for New Orleans this year is that the breaks overwhelmingly have not gone the Saints' way. This is no excuse for what has happened to this team this year or anything of the sort. Said it many times. They have been poorly coached. They're poorly prepared. They don't tackle well. There's a lot of things wrong. And when you have all of those things go wrong, generally you need some breaks to fall your way. And unfortunately, the exact opposite has happened for the New Orleans Saints this year. And that continued again today on two separate occasions. Number one, Matthew Stafford is no longer in the concussion protocol. So the Rams will have their starting quarterback this weekend whenever they play in New Orleans against the Saints. If you are the Arizona Cardinals, a week ago, you caught a big break. There was no Matthew Stafford, and the Rams ended up playing a couple of guys whose names you don't even know. And so Arizona got a win a week ago over the Rams because of the most important position on the field was decimated. And then we find out today that the Philadelphia Eagles have agreed to a deal with Ndamukong Suh. If you have not been here for any length of time, I, all offseason, pushed very hard and lobbied for the New Orleans Saints to sign Ndamukong Suh. Suh has spent the last 2 years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the last 3 years, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was part of their Super Bowl team in 2020. His contract expired. He has not been with a team yet this season, presumably waiting for a great opportunity, and this would certainly qualify. He gets to go to the best team in the NFC, where they are thin on the defensive line. Their first-round draft pick, Jordan Davis, out of Georgia, is on IR. He will return at some point, but when you've got Linval Joseph and now, of course, Fletcher Cox is there, and they sign Ndamukong Suh, the Saints are going to go to Philadelphia and now have to deal with Ndamukong Suh. And that's just part of it. When you look at so many other situations this year, the Saints play the Ravens the week they acquire Roquan Smith from the Bears. And Roquan Smith came up with a massive stop early in that game on a 3rd and 1. You go play Pittsburgh, and T.J. Watt returns from his injury when you go to Pittsburgh. And, of course, that was a great defensive performance by the Steelers. Stafford this week returning for the Rams. When you look ahead, you're going to go to San Francisco, who acquired Christian McCaffrey. Had you played them earlier in the year, you wouldn't have to have dealt with McCaffrey. If you played him early enough, heck, you might have even been able to face a third-year quarterback. So, look, when you go to Philadelphia, you'll have to face Ndamukong Suh. When you play Cleveland, because that game's late in the season, you're going to face Deshaun Watson on the road. Had that been earlier in the season, it would have been Jacoby Brissett. Instead, it's a much more difficult game now when New Orleans does go to Cleveland. So, and then look, I mean, we talked about it so much before the season started. The Saints' schedule shaped up where they really needed to make hay early and late because the middle was a meat grinder. And early in the season, you would have loved to have been able to get off to a really good start, but of course, Jameis Winston got injured, and you were playing a quarterback with a broken back and torn ligament in his foot against Carolina, which was an inherently winnable game on the road before you went over to London, and you dropped that one after dropping the one to Tampa. So it's been one of those years where not a lot has gone right for the Saints, and even some of the breaks that you hope to catch throughout the course of a season have gone against the Saints this year. For what it's worth, Dennis Allen did meet with the media, gave a little bit of an update after practice on Wednesday before they're heading toward the game against the Rams.
We had good practice today. We worked a ton on fundamentals and technique. Guys are hungry to get back out there again, and we're looking forward to playing the Rams.
We did talk yesterday about the decision, which is to stick with Andy Dalton. Can you play number 4, please? Here was Dennis Allen on the decision to start Andy Dalton this week over Jameis Winston.
A lot of the factors just went into, how we're playing and how we're operating, obviously, and it's not good enough. But I think, part of the factor is there's a lot of elements in this team that have to improve, and there's a lot of other areas that we have to work on, to help in that regard so that we'll play better as a team. So, you kind of want to look at one spot, but yet there's a lot of factors that we have to, or a lot of positions that have to play better, and that's where we're starting.
I don't disagree that a lot of positions have to play better than just quarterback, but you don't have an option in a lot of positions. You do have an option at quarterback, presumably, unless if Jameis Winston's not healthy. Here was Dennis Allen on Jameis Winston's health and if that factored into this decision.
Again, like we said before, he's not 100%. I'm not sure if he's going to be 100%. But like I said, there was a lot of things that we talked over. I'm not going to go into great detail on all the specific things that were discussed, but at the end of it, I decided to go with Andy.
Saints-Rams, noon from the Dome on Sunday. The Saints are battling their own lengthy injury report, as we've talked about a lot throughout the course of this year. It's hard to see it getting much better this week or as we move through the coming weeks. Maybe you get Trevor Penning back and you start to see what he might be able to to mean for this team as it moves forward. We'll wait on an injury report to come out here at some point this afternoon. But the lengthy injury report, Saints will be shorthanded again when they play the Rams Sunday in the Dome. Saints do remain 3.5 point favorite in this game over the Rams, one that the Saints could get of their remaining 7. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. You know where to find them, 29 offices across 11 different states. They service all scale and measurement equipment makes and models. They can do on-site calibrations. You can ship your equipment to them. They can even come pick it up from you. And in so many instances, that's what's best, is if instead of packing up your devices and shipping them to a calibration lab, just call Michelli. They'll come, pick it up, bring it back to their lab, calibrate it, return it to you. It'll save you time. What might take weeks with other companies would take days with Michelli because they're right here. Michelli Weighing and Measurement, celebrating 75 years in business. They are ISO 17025 accredited. They've got their track system, which allows you 24/7, 365 access to all of your certificates. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. That's a free service, by the way. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Thursday Night Football tonight. The Titans at the Packers. Paul Nolan will be with us next hour. We'll get a pick from Paul on Titans-Packers, see what he thinks. I'm not sure if you saw this, however, but Titans starting center Ben Jones in the concussion protocol. He is out for the game tonight on Thursday Night Football. So, not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you plan accordingly. You know the old Mike D angle. If a team loses its starting center, they fail to cover some 85% of the time the week they lose their starting center. So Titans going on the road, short week to Green Bay without their starting center. You know where my money is already placed. But we'll have Paul Nolan with us next hour. All right, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll talk some LSU UAB with Ryan Clark. He was on that team in 2000 that lost in Tiger Stadium to the Blazers. Maybe I'll ask him about that. It's AFR.
AFR.
Oh, Christmas is in the air over at Clegg's Nursery. I know we're still a week out from Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a week from today, but at Clegg's, they've already turned the page. You go into Clegg's right now, it's like a winter wonderland. They've got Christmas trees already, unloaded them last weekend, so right now you got full Christmas tree lots over at Clegg's Nursery. Also, the Poinsettia open house is coming up next week. We'll tell you more about that as we get closer, but make plans to attend. And all of your Christmas decor. Of course, if you want the lights and the Santas and the reindeers and all that stuff, they got you covered. To decorate your outdoor area, to turn your home into a winter wonderland, Clegg's can make that happen. Any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area: Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Clegg's Nursery has been serving the greater Baton Rouge area for more than 60 years. So you know what to do. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. It's time to talk Tigers with former LSU safety Ryan Clark. Presented by DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today.
All right, RC joins us. How are you, RC?
Good, man. Just getting a good old smoothie.
All right. So what's your go-to?
Today I'm getting an apple kiwi kale.
Apple kiwi kale. Do you change it up, or are you a same order every time guy?
I changed it up. They're usually green, though.
Okay, fair enough. Green, like the UAB uniforms. LSU.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. LSU's
I've actually lost a game to them.
So I was going to ask you that. RC was on the team in 2000. By the way, RC, Saturday, big game. It will break the all-time series tie. LSU lost in 2000, won in 2013. So big opportunity here. What was that like?
Losing?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, man. I lost 7 and 8 games the previous year. So, I mean, it just felt like every other loss.
There's no way that felt like every other loss.
Coney, like the year before, like I had lost to Houston.
Oh, that's
bro,
true.
And
that's true.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, like, you're taking, like, new LSU losing to UAB. It wasn't necessarily that. And the week before, it was crazy. We had beat Tennessee, remember?
Wait, no, you beat Tennessee the week after.
Oh, week after. Okay, yeah, the week after we beat Tennessee. There you go.
Do you remember? Because it is kind of one of those pivotal moments where people talk about Saban's era, and it's like, okay, he lost to Auburn, lost to UAB in a really deflating moment, then the bounce back came against Tennessee, and it felt like that was the pendulum swinging for the program.
You know, I don't know. What I do remember is I played really well in both games.
Okay.
I was actually defensive player of the game in both. And I think that's what's most important, going to hear. Those are the things we should focus on. No, like I think, you know, now that you mentioned we didn't beat Tennessee until the week after, I don't think we had the arrogance nor confidence nor entitlement that the current LSU program had. And so, you know, for us, I believe the score was really low. I don't think we
13-10.
Yeah, so it was just one of those games. And, you know, just to let people inside the locker room, when you only give up 13 points and you lose, and especially like in my position when I played really well, you kind of like, what else is there to do? You know, you accept the loss, like you realize that night they were better than you, and you come out and do your best to be better the next week. And that's kind of what it was then. It wasn't like this total the world's falling into oblivion moment. It will be if they lose Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great point because LSU's got a lot on the line on Saturday. Hey, Before we look ahead, I do want to look back if we could. When you were watching that game on Saturday, and I'm particularly interested from a defensive back perspective, what did Arkansas do to maybe confuse Jaden on that back end on Saturday?
I don't think they really confused him in the sense that, well, he throws the one pick early, right?
Yeah, and RC, I don't even think that was like a bad decision. He said after the game the ball just it slipped, and it kind of looked like it was a weird play.
Right. Like, he didn't necessarily seem confused as he seemed under pressure, and coverage was extremely tight. And maybe, maybe watching it on your phone at breakfast at a breakfast spot in Lewiston, Idaho, it doesn't come through as well as you might hope, or when you're like in the rolling mountains headed to Wazoo. But like to me, it just seemed like they pressured him extremely well. They spied him on a lot of occasions to not let him get out of the pocket and make plays. And then when you look at the coverage on the back end, it was extremely sound and tight. I think, you're gonna have some of those games, and either Jaden has to make a play and be better than the other team, or somebody offensively has to be. I thought, and I hope this is right, was it Josh Williams?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he ran the ball extremely well and extremely tough. And I heard Greg McElroy say that he don't feel like a walk-on or doesn't run like a walk-on. Hell no, he doesn't.
Yeah.
This guy runs like a feature back and in the SEC, and that's how you got to win the game sometimes. Like, sometimes it's just not your day in the facet of the game, but it's so much better to correct those minuses after a win. And, I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm going to be honest, man. Like, I have no idea how the boys feel about Brian Kelly, the man, or the people at LSU feel about Brian Kelly, the man. Brian Kelly, the coach, can freaking coach. And he understands it. He's done it. And he said after the game, like, it's an SEC win. It's hard to win here. And I love that he's understood that, because I tell people all the time, they always look at, like, they're like, oh, you guys just ride Alabama. You guys just ride Georgia. Well, guess what, guys? The week after you play Alabama, you got to play Arkansas. Or the week after you play LSU, you got to go play Ole Miss. And unfortunately, those teams are really tough too. So it's not always like the top dog that knocks you off, as much as it's the attrition of playing these talented, well-coached teams every week. And I love the fact that Brian Kelly was able to say, look, this is a good win against a very good football team after an extremely emotional and tough week. And I think this shows the maturity and growth of LSU as a team, and also what is great about having, an experienced coach who understands how difficult ball can be.
He's on Twitter at RealRClark25. Ryan Clark joins us courtesy of our friends over at DraftKings, official sports betting partner of AFR and basically everybody else as well. The Pivot podcast. Saw the Fat Joe episode drop this week. What else you got coming on Friday?
So we had gotten to a point, man, and we talked about it, to where, like, we kind of became interviewers,
Mm-hmm.
And so I just thought it would be good. Fred's taken, had to go away for a second on vacation with his family for a second. And so, like, we took the time to just do a show with ourselves, man, and just kind of talk about different things going on in sports. As former players, how do you feel about Jeff Saturday? As a show, how knowing Izzy affected us all. And then now people are talking about, like, the pivot curse, even though it's not a pivot curse. I had to talk about it on DC and RC, Deshaun Watson being back. And so we kind of got an opportunity to weigh in and talk about a lot of things going on in sports and real life that I think, we were excited to give our opinion on. There's a guy that used to play in, I think this town is called Dallas. I believe their emblem is like a star or something like that. I'm not sure. But this guy's been in a lot of Thanksgiving games, apparently won like 3 Super Bowls and called them the Triplett. There was one guy that played running back, another one played quarterback. This guy was the other guy. Apparently he's going to give us some thoughts next Tuesday about what it's like to wear that star on your helmet during Thanksgiving week, which I think would be awesome.
Wow.
And then on Friday, we have a guy who, 2-time National Player of the Year. out of Duke, national champion, number 2 overall pick, and he takes you through riding a motorcycle into a pole, spinning in the air for 400 feet, and not being able to feel the lower part of his body for 4 years after that. And so we have some real good shows coming up, man, where we just really dive into, I think, 2 people and some instances that they're going through and are going through in life right now that are very interesting.
Yeah, man, if you're not subscribed up to The Pivot, you're doing it wrong. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the...
Are we not going to talk about Michael Parsons Jr.? Are you serious? So we are not going to talk about Lawrence Taylor III that played for LSU this weekend.
I'm not done.
Oh, I thought we were finished.
No.
I was about to say.
I
came here for one reason and one reason only, Tony.
We got 4 more minutes, and that was a very appropriate time to put the pivot in the middle so everybody knew that we're getting to Harold Perkins. Like, that's why you do it, right? You make them wait. You make them wait through the promotional moment because now we get to talk about it. Did you honestly think I wasn't going to ask you about Harold Perkins?
I didn't know. I thought you might have talked about it so much already that you didn't want me to talk about it. I was so hurt. I only came on like I'm not even sipping my smoothie yet, so we can get to this part.
All right. Okay. Let me hear what you got to say then. The floor is yours. Go.
Oh, my freaking God, Tony, we got one. I am so fired. Oh, my God. Tony, like, honestly, I'm like, for real, like, Stanford Steve asked me, and like, after camp, he's like, hey, man, that 40 days, they don't really know where to play him at, but that kid's going to be good. And, bro, just put him out there. I don't care. I think he can play every position, legitimately. He can start on the D-line, linebacker. He can start at safety. He's a freaking monster. And everybody, just enjoy it. Let's just sit back and enjoy it and just have fun and let him run down quarterbacks and create forced fumbles and sack people and spy Bryce Young when you ask him to. I mean, he's a freaking freak show. I mean, a freak show. Oh, my God. And the other thing is this, Tony. He's a baby. Like a legitimate baby. You know what I mean? And it's like, you watch people do things now, and you see him in the league, and you start to think about coaching and, like, experience and development. He has none of that. Like, everything he is doing, and obviously they're doing an amazing job coaching defense at LSU right now. Shouts out to them as defense coordinators, position coaches. But this kid's just whipping, like, grown men without knowing anything, with a naivety and ignorance to skill development and technique. He's just better than everybody. Like, I want to know what that feels like, Tony, to wake up in the morning, right? And they say, hey, today you're just going to rush the passer all day, and you're the best in college football at it. And then they say, you know what? Today we're going to have you spy the best player in college football, and you're better than everybody else in the world at it. I don't know how that feels. It must be what like wakes up and feels all the time, or like what Holly Berry feels every morning. She's prettier than everybody walking the face of the earth. Like, I just don't know. I'm gonna get me a 40 jersey. And thank you, Harold, for picking LSU, even when we didn't know if we'd be able to recruit. And we appreciate all the SEC championships your talent is going to get us to. I love you. I want to hug you and kiss you.
Did you say I want to hug you and kiss you?
Yes. I am old. When you're emotional, when you're old, you get emotional, and you're okay with being a man and sharing your feelings with people.
Is Harold Perkins your favorite player ever?
He's my favorite. No, he's not. That was going to be a lie. I was going to lie to you. 100%. Sophomore year, Tyrann Mathieu is my favorite player of all time.
So does Harold have characteristics that Tyrann had?
So here's what's crazy. Harold is more gifted than Tyrann is.
Sure.
Like, he's like more naturally, like, physically gifted than he is. And then he also has that, for some reason, this football magnet that I stick in my girdle attracts the football to me. Yeah. He has that too. I think the thing we don't know, he's obviously more talented, I think, than Tyron was as a freshman. But we watched Tyron come on as the year went along, much like we were watching Harold. Here was the big difference, right? We expected Harold Perkins Jr. to be at least something like this. We never expected that from Tyron Matthews.
Yeah,
so I think
that's fair.
I think Tyron got put in those places later on in his freshman year, so it's hard to compare those things. What we'll have to compare is next year. And what we'll have to figure out is what Harold Perkins does in the next year of football. Is it so monumental? Is it so captivating? Is it so polarizing that it 100% takes over the college football world? I don't know if he'll have that. Right? Like the playmaking might be there and the impact on the game. I don't know if for years to come, people are going to dye their hair blonde and wear bad mohawks. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like that. If you were not, and these young kids who cheer for Harold Perkins will probably be like, Ryan Clark's crazy. If you were not alive or if you were not a football fan for Tyron Matthews' sophomore year, you actually can't understand it. Like, you can't understand what it was like to know for an entire year that number 7 was going to make a play. For Arkansas to have to punt and know he was going to make a play. For Arkansas, for him to have to play safety and know that he was going to be the best safety in the game. For Georgia to punt it to him, and 2 times he has 2 of the greatest run backs you've ever seen. And that's what made the championship so hard, because for 4 quarters, you waited for number 7 to make a play, and it was the first time we didn't see it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Harold's the closest thing I've seen to Tyron from that perspective, RC, where you just sit back waiting and expecting a play. It's special, man. There's no doubt about it. Hey, I'm very glad that we got to Harold Perkins. Not that I was ever going to let you get out of here without asking you about Harold Perkins, but I was saving it. But you always deliver, and we appreciate you. Thanks, RC.
My man, have a great one, bro.
All right, man. Be well. That's Ryan Clark. Make sure you check out The Pivot. RC's with us, courtesy, of course, of our friends over at DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of AFR. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Be sure you use the promo code Baton Rouge to unlock great promotions. That's DraftKings. All right, after further review, we'll go around the SEC. Fantasy Blitz here in about 15 minutes from right now. Darin Tietgen will be here, so get your fantasy football questions in. We'll do that coming up here shortly. It's AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darin James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
I get it, y'all. Thanksgiving is a week from today. You're thinking about the holidays. You're not thinking right now about selling your home or moving or whatever the case may be. Well, I got some great news for you. You don't have to. Let Darin James do it. November remains the #1 home selling month in our market for the last 6 years. So many people want to be in the new home for the holidays, be in the new home for the new year. You could do it if you start today. Call Darin James, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Love sharing 5-star reviews. This one said, Darin and his team were extremely helpful with the entire process, made sure to keep me updated, exceeded my expectations. If you need to sell your home, you need Darin James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darin James.
During the season of Thanksgiving, Corvell Toyota wants to take the time to thank you for your business. We could not be in business for over 50 years without you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you from Corvell Toyota in Opelousas.
Thank you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So I know they're expecting like a blizzard in Buffalo this week. But still, this surprises me. Adam Schefter is tweeting some breaking news. The NFL is officially moving the Browns-Bills game out of Buffalo and to Ford Field in Detroit. So they'll play it Sunday. It's noon. He says 1 o'clock, noon Central. So the Bills will play 2 straight games in Detroit. They'll play the Browns, and they'll just stay in Detroit and play the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. So that's certainly a disadvantage for Buffalo. They'll in essence lose a home game. And I've seen all the weather forecasts. I get it, 6 feet of snow and all that stuff. I mean, we have seen the NFL has coined the fog game. We have seen torrential rainstorms. We've seen snow games before. The ice bowl when you played in sub-zero temperatures. I mean, it just is very odd to me that they are going to move this game out of Buffalo, but that decision is final. Paul Nolan's going to be with us a little less than an hour from right now. Very interested to know his thoughts on what that means for this game, for the line, all that sort of stuff. So Paul Nolan from freewinners.net joins us every Thursday, bottom of hour number 2. So that's coming up here in a bit. Also, next hour, Evan Dudley, AL.com, covers UAB. We'll take a peek at LSU's opponent this weekend and why maybe that point spread is at 2 touchdowns. I mean, a lot of people assume that would be a much bigger line, that LSU would be a much heavier favorite, but we'll talk to a guy who covers UAB on a day-to-day basis. Again, about 21 minutes from right now. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Let's do it. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Ole Miss Rebels.
So Ole Miss has reportedly offered Lane Kiffin a contract extension that would make him among the top 10 highest paid coaches in college football. The report came from our friend Richard Cross at Sports Talk Mississippi. He's also the sideline reporter for Ole Miss, and I can tell you definitively Richard is a very connected person in Ole Miss. He tweeted, Lane Kiffin has received a new contract offer from Ole Miss. Will make him one of the 10 highest paid coaches in college football. It's now a waiting game to see if he'll receive an offer from Auburn. So, of course, Auburn said to be currently considering Lane Kiffin for its vacant job. Lane Kiffin is making $7.25 million a year presently at Ole Miss.
The Florida Gators.
Sophomore receiver Xavier Henderson. He'll miss the matchup against Vanderbilt in Nashville on Saturday. He's got what they're describing a lower body injury. Leads the Gators in receptions. He's third in receiving yards. Former top 100 overall prospect. Henderson joined sophomore Jaquavion Fraziers as the second receiver not available this week against Vanderbilt. Fraziers is out with a shoulder injury that probably will end his season.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
On the hardwood, Ricky Council led Arkansas in scoring for the third straight game. Trevon Brazile recorded his second double-double of the season. Hogs get a 71-56 win over South Dakota State. Council with a game-high 19. Brazile had 13 and 10. No player from South Dakota State scored in double figures. Amazing. Arkansas heads to Hawaii to play in the Maui Jim Invitational. They'll face Louisville on Wednesday.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Actually, they don't say what day they're facing Hawaii. I guess maybe it'll be Monday. Anyway, it doesn't say definitively in that release what day. But I'll go ahead and say it's Monday because the tournament's Monday to Wednesday. What was that one, Muse? Hit me again.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
22nd ranked Tennessee, they bounced back against Florida Gulf Coast 81-50. 81-50. Wow, 31-point win for sure. Held Florida Gulf Coast to 30% from the floor. That's the lowest an opponent has scored in more than 2 years. Vols finished with 4 players in double-digit scoring. Tennessee heads to the battle for Atlantis. They'll take on Butler Wednesday at 7:30. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Raging Cajuns. Gulf Coast Office Products. This is getting a lot of attention today. Mark Ryan, who does radio up in South Carolina, tweeted earlier today that Greg Sankey, who was speaking at an event in South Carolina, said that the league is looking at going to a single division and is leaning heavily in that direction, moving away from the 2-division format and no 4-team pod system. Of course, that's when Texas and Oklahoma come into the league and the league goes to 16. That's not breaking news. Greg Sankey talked about that at SEC Media Days in Atlanta this past summer. He laid out all of the things that they're considering. And maybe they are leaning to going to a single division, but there's a lot of different options on the table, and that one is not a new one. The bigger questions is not, is it single, is it no divisions, is it, is just one division, a 4-team pod, whatever. The bigger questions are, how many conference games do you play? Do you go from 8 to 9? That's one. And 2, do you keep the permanent opponents? Those are the biggest questions that remain to be answered, and we haven't gotten any finality or clarity on that. But dropping 2 divisions is in no way breaking news. It's always been assumed that they would not continue with 2 divisions whenever they expand to 16. So we'll wait for some finality there from the league office. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. Great time to go by. They got inventory on the lot. New and certified pre-owned. So if you are looking for a new vehicle, check out our friends at South Point Volkswagen. I am so thrilled every time I sit behind the wheel of my Volkswagen Atlas, the 3-row, 7-seater family SUV, which is safe, affordable, stylish, spacious. You can drive one today at South Point Volkswagen. Go to the website. You can hit the new vehicles tab. You can see the entire inventory, as I tell you all the time. If it's on the lot, it's online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, y'all. It is After Further Review. Evan Dudley of AL.com talking about UAB. That's coming up in 15 minutes. After the break, we will talk to Darin Tietgen, who2start.com. The NFL weekend begins tonight with the Titans at the Packers. Before you set your fantasy football roster, check with our guy Darin Tietgen at who2start.com. So get your questions in. You can email us, tweet us, jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, or text in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Fantasy Blitz next.
AFR.
Baton Rouge General Hospital is expanding healthcare in the Baton Rouge area. brgeneral.org, where you can go learn about all of the different offerings there at the Baton Rouge General Hospital, including the Advanced Robotics Institute for Robotic Surgery. And I do get asked sometimes, and the surgeons get asked sometimes, so is the robot performing the procedure? And the answer to that is definitively no. Your surgeon is performing the procedure, but the robotic arm is a more advanced tool with which they perform the procedure, which will allow for more accurate incisions, more precise incisions, which leads to better results, less downtime. It's minimally invasive. Learn more about the Advanced Robotics Institute at brgeneral.org for whatever type of surgery. If it's colorectal surgery, general surgery, a reflux, esophageal, weight loss surgery, oncology, it's all there online, brgeneral.org.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. After further review, this is the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Do you know who I am?
Powered by whotostart.com.
Who the hell are you?
Whotostart.com.
Can you move?
the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Who the pickings?
This is the Fantasy Football Blitz, powered by whotostart.com on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 104.5ESPN.com.
All right, let's do it. Darin Tietgen joins us from whotostart.com. Answer your personalized fantasy football questions. How are you, dude?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
We're doing well. Appreciate you as always. As always, we start with Thursday Night Football. Packers hosting the Titans, who are depleted, to say the least, right now. What are we looking at tonight, D?
Yeah, well, Ryan Tannehill back for the Titans' offense opens up a little bit, so should open up some running lanes for Derrick Henry. Not that he really needs them as big as he is, but looks like the passing game opens things up for that running game, and vice versa. So look for the Titans to put up some points. Not too many points, but maybe in the 20s. So that's good for fantasy. So then on the other side, with Aaron Rodgers getting some help back at wide receiver, we'll see that offense open up a little bit too. So hopefully it's not too much of a stinker game like we usually see on Thursdays.
Darin, sleepers for this week, as we always ask.
Yeah, if you're looking for a quarterback, Tyler Heineke probably fits the bill. Playing at Houston, and Houston's defense is pretty forgiving. So Heineke's a decent play at quarterback. If you need a running back, one of the two Kansas City Chiefs running backs might be able to help you out, either Isaiah Pacheco or even Jerick McKinnon if you're in a PPR league. And then at wide receiver with Cooper Kupp out, Ben Skoranek will pick up a lot of those routes that he runs. So he's definitely not Cooper Kupp, but he can help you in a pinch.
All right, Darin Tietgen's with us, whotostart.com. It's the numeral 2, whotostart.com. You can get personalized fantasy football advice and use the promo code ESPN. They'll give you 10% off. Answer any fantasy football question you have as you set your roster. We always get to your questions, so email us, tweet us, jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat or text us, 225-396-4400. Let's get to Rusty, who said, Dynasty League, do I take Christian Watson off my taxi squad? Once I take him off, he can't go back on.
Right, yeah. I mean, if you're looking to win this year, he's definitely going to help you out. And if you're planning for the future, just keep him on there. There's no sense in burning the contract year for the Dynasty League. But, if you're looking to win this year, he's going to help you out.
Brennan Thibodeau says, who to start? He's got DeAndre Carter, Van Jefferson, and Jacoby Myers. Who to start?
I think Carter. I don't know if Keenan Allen's due back. I knew Mike Williams was due back for the Chargers. Maybe not this week, maybe next week. So in that case, DeAndre Carter makes for an intriguing possibility this week against the Chiefs.
I got an email from Amari Regnard who said, who to start? It's a half PPR league. He's got Deontay Johnson against the Bengals, Peoples-Jones against the Bills, and Donovan Smith against the Colts. Who to start? I'm sorry, Devontae Smith against the Colts. Who to start?
Yeah, I go with Devontae there. Just the safest bet. I'm not playing anybody in Buffalo this week, I don't think, unless it's the running backs. So I think Devontae Smith is probably your best bet in half PPR.
So, Darin, I don't know if you saw this, but just literally within the last 20 minutes or so, the NFL's announced they've moved that game to Detroit. So that is going to be played indoors at Ford Field. Does that change things?
Yeah, that doesn't change anything. I do like Donovan Peoples-Jones, but I would still stick with Devontae there. Just a safer bet would be a quarterback situation.
All right, here's one from Cameron who said he needs 2 of 3 non-PPR leagues, so I guess this is a who to sit. He's got Elijah Mitchell, Kenyon Drake, and Hollywood Brown.
I think I'm going to wait a week to start Hollywood Brown. I'm not sure if he's even going to play this week. I know he's coming off IR, but obviously whoever's playing quarterback for the Cardinals definitely has a couple of solid prospects in DeAndre Hopkins and Rondale Moore. So I think you're sitting Hollywood Brown to see how he looks coming back from injury.
Last one, it is John asking what you're projecting for Matt Stafford. Obviously, Stafford coming off concussion and no Cooper Kupp this week.
Yeah, I would look elsewhere. I mean, he's not going to have Cooper Kupp. He's got Van Jefferson. He's got Ben Skoranek. He's got Allen Robinson, but I'm not projecting much out of Stafford. Maybe, I don't know, 225 yards and maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns at very most. I think you could find upside with someone like Tyler Heineke.
He is Darin Tietgen, who2start.com. Again, it's the numeral 2, who2start.com. Personalized fantasy football advice. Go to the website. Use the promo code ESPN. They'll save you 10%. Answer all of your fantasy football questions. Darin, you're the best. Appreciate you as always, man. Have a great weekend.
All right, thanks. You guys too.
All right, we appreciate it. It is After Further Review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. A shout-out to my guy Matt Wiggins over at Oliver Twist, who popped in studio. So we were there last night for Scone and Tea, and Wiggins said they were making they have an old-fashioned special that they're calling Rare Fashioned, which is using Wild Turkey Rare Breed bourbon in their old-fashioned. So Wiggins popped in and handed one to me and Moose. So, Moose, I may give it to you. A no booze November. I'll let you take care of both of them.
I'm in.
Yeah, right. No doubt. 420's right around the corner as well. Hour 2 now.
AFR.
Brought to you by GMFS Mortgage at GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, GMFSmortgage.com. Hey, look, if you are still renting, I implore you, get in touch with a local loan officer over at GMFS Mortgage. They do incredible work, and they have so many different loan products that no matter what your situation, it's worth a call. It's worth having that conversation with one of the local loan officers at GMFS Mortgage to see if they can help you. Stop renting and start building wealth, build equity, own your own home, realize the American dream. It's a great time right now to buy. Even though interest rates have ticked up in recent months, they're still at historically low levels when you consider where rates have been in years past. GMFS Mortgage, Louisiana's largest local lender, billions in loans closed, hundreds of thousands of Louisianians helped. GMFSmortgage.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
I'm Chris Nakamoto. Here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. 24 hours after the WBRZ investigative unit exposed a West Baton Rouge sheriff's employee admitting to stealing money, the sheriff remains silent about his decision to keep her on the payroll. Sources tell the investigative unit $150,000 went missing. Legal experts are weighing in tonight on the message this sends the rest of the department. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. and we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Sunday's Browns-Bills game has officially been moved by the NFL to Detroit at 1 Eastern on Sunday due to public safety concerns and an abundance of caution with heavy snow forecast this weekend in Buffalo. Titans and Packers kick off Week 11 of the NFL season tonight. Green Bay looking to get into playoff contention in the NFC, hoping to build on last week's win over Dallas, where its running game was key. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon with over 200 yards on the ground. The Packers need that same approach tonight, says Bart and Hahn co-host Bart Scott.
They have to commit to the run because it sets up everything else that they want on the back end. To be able to attack this Titans secondary, you have to first get those safeties to commit 8 in the box, one-on-one coverage, and take advantage of when you do that. To do that, you got to run the football.
For the second time in 2 days, the Eagles adding a veteran defensive tackle. Phillies agreed on a one-year deal with Ndamukong Suh. They added Linval Joseph yesterday. The Eagles have struggled against the run with rookie Jordan Davis on IR. NBA X-rays on Hornets point guard LaMelo Ball's left ankle were negative. He has been ruled out already tomorrow night against the Cavaliers.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Bottom of this hour, we'll chat with Paul Nolan, freewinners.net. Thursday Night Football tonight. Stafford playing against the Saints. How does that affect the line? Most certainly want to ask about the Bills game being moved against the Browns to Detroit to avoid all the snow. Ton to get to with Paul Nolan, bottom of this hour, and Mike Triplett of NewOrleans.football to talk some Saints with us in hour number 3. Let's go over to Birmingham and get a look at LSU's opponent this week.
The Tigers are on the hunt. Let's head behind enemy lines to preview this week's matchup.
I swear I had no idea what UAB's fight song sounded like. I did not know what to expect their music.
I didn't either, Todd.
I didn't know if you were going to play like Sweet Home Alabama.
I kind of like it, though.
Anything Alabama related. Yes, it is it's a catchy tune. I like it. All right, Evan Dudley joins us. He covers UAB for AL.com. He's on Twitter at EvanDoWrightAL. That's WRITE. Aha. Evan, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Do people there in Birmingham still talk about the 2000 UAB win in Baton Rouge?
Absolutely. That is probably one of their high water marks. Obviously, you look at context. It was Nick Saban's first year. LSU's exiting the Jerry DiNardo era. One I think some fans would probably like to forget a little bit. But, it's something they like to hang their hat on just because, it was one of their few wins over a Power 5 opponent. But I think they've had much better wins, in their more recent history, such as their first West Division title win over Southern Miss in overtime. They walked that off in overtime. Then you had their win last year, the number 13 BYU in the Independence Bowl. So this is a team that's got better wins, but it's definitely a win that they remember very fondly.
It's such an odd situation as well with UAB, who, of course, they disbanded the program and then brought it back. And Bill Clark did such a magnificent job and then he sort of suddenly and abruptly retired before this season started. First, Evan, if I could ask, just how much did that catch people off guard, Bill Clark's decision?
I think it pretty much caught everyone kind of off guard. I'd kind of noticed something in spring practice. I think he might have missed a day. He had to go to a doctor's appointment and something about his back, which is something he had dealt with since his high school days, an injury in his high school days in the weight room. But he had a discectomy back in the late 90s that relieved some of the pressure, but he eventually had to have an spinal fusion on some vertebrae. So it was just something he couldn't really avoid at this point. And rather than try to work his way through his recovery, he decided to go ahead and step aside because he knew he just would not be able to put in, his full 100% that he usually does to kind of lead a college football team.
So what was that transition like, Evan, just being around the team, having to very abruptly and suddenly transition under an interim coach?
I don't think it was too hard of a transition for the players and the staff because the rest of the staff did remain there. They elevated Darin Crenshaw, a former Kentucky offensive coordinator. They elevated him to offensive coordinator there with Ryan Vincent taking over the interim job. But just having that stability there with the coaching staff, the players were, they still know who they're, learning from. They're still learning the same system. They're still playing the same system. So I think the transition was not as hard, but I would think here in the next couple of weeks when we kind of find out, who they're going to hire for a permanent, whether they take Vincent's interim tag off or not, that's really going to be where the transition really becomes, more mammoth and focal.
Makes a lot of sense. Evan Dudley is with us, covers the Blazers for AL.com. Let's talk a little bit about this UAB football team. I think everybody knows what UAB is running the football with Dwayne McBride, over 1,400 yards already this season. What has made him so effective?
It's got to be just his absolute will to not be tackled. He's a guy who just, he wants to run the ball. He wants to help his team, but he does not like to be touched, does not like to be tackled. And you've seen that in the way he plays. He'll run through a guy. He'll run around him. He'll spin around him. He'll go over the top. He'll flip over. And he'll do about just anything he can to avoid being tackled. Now, of course, that also resulted in early fumbles this season, which also led to early losses. And that's kind of been the story of the UAB football team, is just missed opportunities at 5-5, all their losses coming in one-possession games. But, Dwayne McBride is just a very special player. He's got a big offensive line built from Mississippi JUCO guys to run behind, and those guys just kind of pave the road for him, and he kind of does the rest with just his sheer will.
Can they throw it?
They can. The past few years they've been more of a boom and bust. Work the play action off the running game, but they've kind of evolved a little bit more. They've added more depth. Trey Shropshire was kind of their deep threat last year. He led the nation in yards per reception. But they've got some more guys now. Tajon Palmer from Snow College. He played back-to-back spring and fall seasons last year, but he's got a little bit rest, and he's really come on here late in the season. So they've got some guys who can, do some things with the ball in their hands, and I think that's made this passing game a little bit more, probably just a little bit more productive than what it would have been just relying on the run and working play action down the field.
Dylan Hopkins is the quarterback who's played a lot of ball. What do you expect from him Saturday in Tiger Stadium?
I'd like to think that he would go in calm. He's been in these situations before. He's coming off an injury, had a concussion, but, they held him out an extra week when he possibly could have won. He just didn't practice. He wanted to kind of, get out of that hesitation mode in his mind to where, he'd be afraid of a hit. But I'd like to think that he'll go in, he'll be calm, he'll be confident, he'll be efficient, which is kind of his MO. He he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but unfortunately when he does make mistakes, they are big ones. So that's something that he'll have to really rein in and really play within himself, take what the defense gives him, which probably won't be too much, but he'll just have to manage this game as a good quarterback should.
Evan, let's flip it over and talk about that defense. Where are the opportunities for LSU to attack UAB's defense?
It would probably more likely be around the edge. They have done well in keeping quarterbacks contained for the most part, the lone exception being Frank Harris out of UTSA. They have still not allowed a 300-yard passer this year, but, Jaden Daniels leading LSU in rushing the way he's been able to pass the ball as well. 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, very efficient as well. So I think he's going to be really the focus of this defense. And if he can, kind of get out of that pocket, make some plays, and, get them, a little bit confused as well, pre-snap, then I think he can take advantage of this defense because they are very aggressive. They like to come after the quarterback. They like to affect him. They like to play a lot of man coverage because of that. So it really comes down to, I think, Jaden Daniels really seeing the field and taking advantage of the spots that he sees.
A couple more for Evan Dudley, covers UAB for AL.com. He's on Twitter at Evan Do Right AL. That's WRITE. Special teams has been a little bit of a bugaboo for LSU this year. If this does end up a close game on a cold day in Baton Rouge, special teams could be big. How are the Blazers there?
They're actually pretty solid. Their kicker, Matt Quinn, he had a couple early misses this year that were, out of routine. They were very short misses, but since then he's kind of got back on track, got his confidence back. Last week against North Texas, we had a pretty strong wind coming at us from the north, and he kicked, I believe, almost an over 40-yard field goal straight into the wind, where we were seeing the North Texas kickers, their kicks, would go halfway and then drop immediately to the ground. So, this guy's got power. He's got some accuracy. It just remains with his confidence, on the field and, not getting too much of his head. As far as their punting, they've got a guy, Kyle Greenwell. He averages almost 45 yards a punt. He can place it down inside the 20. He can flip the field when necessary. Unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to play in his senior day last week, because UAB did not punt against North Texas. But definitely a guy to keep an eye on as far as field position if UAB gets into that kind of situation where they need to flip the field.
That's a good day for a punter if you don't have to play. Actually, it means something's going pretty well. Hey, before you go, if UAB does pull the upset, what does that blueprint look like Saturday in Tiger Stadium?
I think they're going to have to run the ball. McBride will have to have success, and a lot of that's going to come down to his, one-on-one matchups when he sees Baskersfield and Harold Perkins in his line of sight, two guys who are, playing just elite level right now, especially Perkins after last week. But, it's going to come down to him really holding on to the ball, not making mistakes. If they can do that, control the time of possession and, score off these possessions and, not turn the ball over, not, fail on third downs, keep the ball on the ground, keep the ball out of Jaden Daniels' hands, I think is the most important thing. Limit his opportunities. And when he does have his opportunities, they need to be aggressive, but not so much that they allow him to, get out of the pocket and make plays over their heads.
He is Evan Dudley, covers the Blazers for AL.com. Follow him on Twitter. They're at Evan Do Right AL. That's WRITE. Evan, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the game on Saturday. Stay warm.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Man, it is our pleasure. It's after further review. We appreciate you for being here with us. Brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Two things to tell you about. Number one, Hudco is Louisiana's first and only Louisiana-based certified fortified roofing company. A fortified roof, essentially what it's designed to do is in the event of high wind and heavy rain, it's preventing water from getting in your house. Wind could certainly still lift shingles, but whenever you have a fortified roof, it's to prevent the water from getting in so you don't have damage to walls and sheetrock and furniture and everything on the interior of your home. As a matter of fact, insurance companies will pay allow as much as 50% reduction in your homeowner's insurance premiums when you have a fortified roof. Hudco is the only Louisiana-based roofing company to be a certified fortified roofing company. You can learn more at HudcoRoofing.com. That's HudcoRoofing.com. Hit the fortified tab right there. It's a big green tab. You can't miss it to learn more. Or give us a buzz at 364-1007, 364-1007, 364-1007, or HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. When you look at LSU and UAB, it's a little stunning. And I was able to take a look at this earlier this week when Cobble, Shea, and I were doing Sports Takeover on WBRZ Plus, and we kind of did a side-by-side of these teams, and the stats are stunningly similar. Points per game, each team averages 32 points. Points allowed, each team allows 21 points. Total yards, UAB 455, LSU 425. Yards allowed, UAB 338, LSU 348. It's pretty stunning how similar on paper these two teams are going into this weekend. Now, clearly, the level of competition is very different. That goes without saying. But you have a couple of teams that on paper look like mirror images. It's a little surprising to many to see that line it's at 15 right now, but I think you might be looking at a spot where LSU's got a lot to play for looking ahead. UAB is a pretty solid football team at the line of scrimmage and have played a lot of close games. Brian Kelly said it, don't let 5-5 deceive you, because that's a good football team that's just managed to lose some close games. But in any event, LSU, UAB, 8 o'clock Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. All right, it's after further review. Paul Nolan, freewinners.net, in about 15 minutes from right now. Don't move, it's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about River City's 1 hour air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001. 752-0001. Always love sharing 5-star Google reviews. This one from Sterling Seitler, who said Olin, the technician, did a wonderful job. He explained the problem with the system, repaired it at the time he came for my preventative maintenance checkup. I've always had excellent service from River City's 1 hour air. Another 5-star Google review for River City's 1 hour air. They have more than double the amount of 5-star reviews of the next closest competitor, and the reason's obvious. Because for more than 40 years, River City's 1 hour air has been providing exceptional service to people in the greater Baton Rouge area. Give them a call. 752-0001, 752-0001. Nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out, and they'll never charge you extra to come out after hours. It's River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite.
after further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Congratulations to William Hutchinson of Baton Rouge. William is our Week 11 winner in the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em Contest.
That a boy, Bill.
Wins a $50 Twin Peaks gift card. Don't forget to make your picks for Week 12 by 5 p.m. today, Thursday. Play the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em at 1045ESPN.com.
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope your holiday is going absolutely splendiferous. I mean, Muse.
Oh, Bing Crosby, White Christmas.
How in the world can you use Bing Crosby White Christmas to lead in to Graf?
Now Trey from Algiers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No.
Have some.
Logo Trey from the West Bank.
Logo Trey from the West Bank.
Let me just tell you. So there's a whole Dropbox that they send me of Graf calls, and that one was labeled TM3 from the West Bank. I almost didn't even listen to it. I just downloaded it like that's happening.
Using that one. Oh, man. How about the Pellies? CJ McCollum at 23. Pelicans beat the Bulls for the second time in as many weeks, 124-110. What a night for the Pelicans. Jonas added 22, and maybe most importantly, they got wins in back-to-back nights without Zion. What this team continues to show, and listen, make no mistake, the Bulls, while at 6-9 on the season, the Bulls have star power, man. DeMar DeRozan at 28 last night, Zach LaVine at 25. But man, this Pelicans team continues to flex its muscle and most importantly show its depth on this roster time and time again, which was just so impressive. And you know what that lively tune makes me in the mood for, Muse? Not a drink of eggnog. No, not some gingerbread cookies.
Those are good though.
I could take or leave a gingerbread
Peppermint
cookie.
bark? You peppermint bark guy?
The problem with peppermint bark is that
easy.
The crunch of the candy cane kind of gets maybe on the roof of your mouth, stuck in your teeth.
It's peppermint and chocolate. It's
a little
delicious.
I get it, but the peppermint, because you eat a peppermint and chocolate in two different ways. Chocolate, you kind of suck on it, let it melt. Peppermint, you have to suck the peppermint, and then ultimately you chew the chocolate. But with the peppermint, you've got to just suck it all the way down. You can't just like start chomping on a peppermint.
That's fair.
So whenever you bite the chocolate on the bark, the peppermint bark, you're biting into the peppermint as well. So it's like the last moment of the peppermint when you bite. It's just an odd contrast. I'm actually not a huge fan. Like in theory, yes, I like the combination of the flavors. I like peppermint flavored chocolate. But that in and of itself, peppermint bark, not so much actually.
Okay.
But it's not the flavor, it's the texture that I have the issue.
I get that.
It's the texture.
I get that.
Yeah. A Graf! Give me Graf! I want Graf!
Leave it for Trey. Bumped by Caruso. Drives in. Too strong, and he dunked in his own miss.
Say hello to my little friend.
The man cannot be stopped.
Boy, they're so good.
I love John DeShazier so much.
The two of them, I'm going to tell you what's I'm telling Graf this. The biggest miss, the biggest whiff by the Pelicans radio broadcast is they don't have a camera on them.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Have you seen what's happened with the Vikings broadcaster in the last 24 hours?
Yeah, Paul Allen, is that his name? Something like that. I don't know.
They have a camera in the booth, and so the Vikings win over the Bills. Pretty dramatic overtime, all that stuff. Well, they clipped him calling the game, and you're not seeing the game. It's a camera fixed on him in their booth, and so you're watching him call the game, and it's gone viral everywhere. Graf and John need that.
It would be like the Joe Rogan that went viral at UFC. Well, which one was the knockout?
I mean, that's all of them.
Well, yeah, but you know which one.
No, I don't actually.
Well.
It's literally all of them. It's Joe Rogan's like giant eyes holding
he's
everybody.
yeah.
But that's every knockout.
That's what it would be.
You've obviously never watched the UFC pay-per-view.
No,
I'm not judging you.
That one went viral. It was the one before the last one. It went nuts. It's the one people are using most often right now. People will back me up on this, Matt.
It's literally the same Joe Rogan they have a camera on Joe Rogan at every pay-per-view fight, because as soon as there's a knockout, they show Joe Rogan go, and just grab everybody.
The point is, that's what it would be like.
Okay,
that's
fair
the
enough.
point.
Fair enough. The Pelicans are back on the floor. Christmas this Friday. Get ready for it. The Celtics come to town. How about that? How are we feeling about the Celtics coming to town on Christmas Day?
It's a shame the Celtics are going to have to lose on Christmas Day.
I don't think it's a shame at all. Screw Boston.
It's shining so your nose won't freeze. The world is your snowball.
One more graph. Give me one more graph. I'll take one more.
Ingram to the rack. Shovels it to Trey. Left corner three.
The end.
Trigger! Sorry, Antonio Daniels. I couldn't resist. He has got a heat check.
Oh, he's so good. All right. It's after further review. Paul Nolan's going to be here in about 5 minutes from right now. We'll preview Thursday Night Football. I'll remind you again. Muse, have you made a play yet?
I did, and then I cashed it out.
So you did cash it out? Okay.
I did. I want to hear some more analysis, if you will, on it. So I'll listen to Paul Nolan, and I'll make my final decision.
Okay. You going to wait for Otter?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Here's what I'll tell you.
I trust Otter a lot. I do.
There's strength in numbers. I've learned this. Listen, I don't purport to be any type of professional sports bettor, but what I do, and Jimmy Ott provides this market a tremendous service. I'm going to tell you why. He gets professional sports handicappers on his shows, and they give out picks. And so, on his Friday show, they do their cappers recap for the college games, and then on his Magnolia Bowl Football Sunday, they do it for the NFL games. And so you have a half a dozen or so people that this is what they do professionally, giving you their best plays. And when you maybe have 2 or 3 or 4 of them give you the same game, that's indicative. Hammer. So if Paul and Jimmy both give you the same play tonight, that's pretty indicative. But I'm telling you, I'm already in. Because whenever I see angles, I blind bet them that I trust. One of them is the one Mike Detillier told us forever about the starting center. Your starting center's out. The week they're out, team fails to cover 85% of the time. This past week, Saints without Eric McCoy, better believe I hammered Pittsburgh. And I never bet Saints games, but I blind bet that angle. So I wasn't betting against the Saints. I was just blind betting that angle. Saints were without Eric McCoy. I bet the Steelers. And sure enough, they covered with ease. And tonight, Ben Jones, the starting center for Tennessee, is out. He's in the concussion protocol. So Titans, short week, on the road, backup center in Green Bay. Packers got to be feeling it a little bit the way they rallied against Dallas this past weekend. Yeah, I am on Green Bay heavy tonight.
Did play the under. I did play the under.
Okay.
I'll say that.
All right, Paul Nolan from freewinners.net is coming up. We'll get his pick on it. And we're looking forward to that, as always. And Mike Triplett about 45 minutes from right now. Stay here. Paul Nolan's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. 293-0450. 293-0450. Give them a call. Call them right now. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net. I've told you this before, and some of you may not believe me, but it's true. I get texts or tweets, messages every day from people. Hey, what's the insurance company that shops for rates today? A guy named Jeff Eckermeyer, honest to goodness, true story, 53 years old from Alexandria. Shout out, Jeff. Thanks for listening up in Alexandria. Said, what's the name of the insurance company you promote, Jeff? It's Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450. Give Insurance Network of Louisiana a call. It's so easy. They will shop independently for free. That's the key. They're not charging you anything. They will shop independently for free to find you better coverage for less money. If they can, great, switch. If not, at least you know you're paying a fair price. Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call them right now, 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
At Corville Toyota in Opelousas, we're happy to say we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corvell Toyota and pick out your new Toyota today. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, welcome back. AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. By the way, today is Christmas in November at the Lafayette office. Last week was Baton Rouge. Today is Lafayette. So they resumed at 4 o'clock. They'll go until catered, champagne, wine, beer, great food. It's all there at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, online, theantiagingclinics.com. But tonight, Christmas in November in Lafayette. Paul Nolan, freewinners.net, is going to join us here momentarily. We are monitoring. He should be here within the minute or so. I did want to pass this along, and I meant to get to it in the last segment, but we can do it here because we have a brief moment. The Pels did win last night, and after the game, Trey Murphy, who played collegiately at the University of Virginia and was good friends with Lavelle Davis, one of the victims of the tragic shooting on Sunday. Trey Murphy did, during his press conference, make mention of what's going on there in Charlottesville.
Also, would just like to say as well, I also dedicated these last two games to my friends at Virginia that were killed in those last few days. And Lavelle Davis was a good friend of mine, and it was really sad to see him go. He was a special guy. So please keep their families in your prayers. Appreciate that.
Well said there by Trey Murphy, who's had 2 fantastic games back-to-back. The really good news, and Ross Dellinger did share a tweet that Mike Hollins, who we continue to pray for, obviously, who was one of the victims who survived. Mike Hollins, Ross shared these photos in a hospital bed alongside his mom, Brenda, continuing to progress from the gunshot wound to the back. And then there's also a photo, I think we mentioned this before, but Mike's mother, Brenda, worked, and I just want to make sure that I clarify this so there's no confusion about why we're sharing this. Mike Collins' mother, Brenda, worked at Gordon McKernan's office. It may still, I don't know if she does, forgive me for that, but Gordon is acting as a spokesperson for the family. So a lot of the pictures, Gordon was there in Charlottesville, who was there with Mike and visited with him. And if you're watching the picture that Ross shared, one is with Brenda and Mike, and the other is Mike in his hospital bed with his little brother, and Gordon's there as well. So overall, I know everyone continues to, please do continue to keep Mike Hollins in your prayers as he's recovering from a gunshot wound, and the unthinkable tragedy there in Charlottesville, which hits close to home for a lot of us here in Baton Rouge who all watched Mike Hollins play at U-High and have kind of pulled for him even from afar there at UVA. But things seem to be pointing up, which is fantastic. Okay, as I say, I don't know how to transition out of things like that are very serious. So let's just move on. Paul Nolan joins us every Thursday, freewinners.net. Always love talking a little Thursday night football and what the lines look like as we head into our football weekend. Paul, it's great to have you as always, man. How are you?
I'm excellent, my friend. How you guys doing?
Man, we're doing awesome. Always glad to have you. Man, tonight is super interesting on Thursday Night Football. We subscribe and have for a long time to an angle where when a team loses its starting center, they fail to cover some 80+% of the time the week they lose their starting center. Tennessee, no Ben Jones tonight in the concussion protocol, makes me lean heavy toward Green Bay. I'm curious your thoughts on tonight's Thursday Night Football matchup.
Well, when you look at this game, you think Green Bay, they come off that, emotional overtime game against Dallas, a team that should have killed them, right? They should have been able to get in Rodgers' face all game. And, Rodgers only faced pressure on 22% of his dropbacks. And, he found a new target, which obviously you're hoping, when you're looking at this game, you're thinking to yourself, is this going to be a flash in the pan? Because they needed this kid from Jump Street to really be, what he was supposed to be as a first-round pick. Now, people will call him Watson a bust early on, but he had a hamstring injury. He had a knee injury. Some people said he also had a turf toe. So he had a bad start, and people were so quick to judge him as not being the guy. And then he drops the first 2 passes, but Rodgers stayed with him. And one of the reasons I think he stayed with him is because, Bakhtiari came back into the fold. And when Bakhtiari's back in that offensive line, it really does so much more for the offensive line than just getting maybe the best tackle in the game or a top 5 tackle in the game. But it does, Elgin Jenkins gets to move back to his guard position, which he's very, very good at it. He's a Pro Bowl level guard, and it pulls Royce Newman off the field, he's a turnstile. So that right there, it kind of changes the entire dynamic. So the cascading effect that's there when Bakhtiari comes back, you really go from having an average tackle in Jenkins now to having a stud and then a stud at guard with Jenkins there. So it really gives a huge advantage to them. We saw it. We saw the way that, we really saw the way this Green Bay team could operate with a little bit of time. And Aaron Rodgers hit every single window he wanted to. I mean, he was placing balls in guys' hands. Now, obviously, Bakhtiari doesn't practice all week. It's got to be a maintenance thing, in my opinion. If he plays, it's got a huge value to this game. They're talking about it'll be up to a game time to make that decision. So we'll keep an eye on that. But to me, what we saw last week was Tennessee's defense was relentless, absolutely relentless. And they got so many injuries, but Vrabel gets guys to play. He gives a game plan. He creates a game plan that's always suits to this team's strong points. They hit Russell Wilson 18 times. 48% of Russell Wilson's drop back resulted in a hit. Now, Tennessee's defense has been great all year, underrated. I think the cat's out of the bag now. One of the reasons why this total went really from 42 down to 41, and now I'm seeing 40.5s in this one. And it's really because this Tennessee defense, you can't run on them. I think that's 3.8 yards per carry, 3.7 yards per carry when removing junk time or less, a few minutes before halftime and before the end of the game where yards don't matter. So when you kind of adjust the yardage, it's been great. And I think the safety play of Andrew Adams and Kevin Byard have been outstanding. And I love this young slot cornerback, Christian Fulton. He's breaking on balls. He looks terrific. You guys know him, right?
It's LSU guy, man.
Are you guys so proud of him? Because I love watching him on film.
The other thing about Fulton, Paul, is I don't know if you know his story, but he prepped at Rummel in New Orleans, came to LSU, very highly regarded, and had just a really unfortunate situation where he ended up suspended for a year and a half because of a wackadoo NCAA rule. Really fought and could have left at any point and gone and played somewhere else to get back on the field, but persevered through it, got eligible, and was a great contributor. He was the cornerback opposite Stingley on that 2019 national championship team with Burrow and all those guys. Yeah, Fulton is he's a great guy, man. He's an easy dude to cheer for, and he's obviously a fantastic player.
Well, it's so nice to see good things. He just, as a parent, you watch these kids grow, and people forget that these are just kids. They're still kids in the NFL, and it's always so heartwarming to see these guys just emerge. And all of a sudden they find that they belong here, and the sky's the limit for them. And I see that with Christian Fulton at this point. I love what I see from him. So I really love this Tennessee defense. I think the value's kind of gone, and last week on the show, I had the total on the Giant-Houston game was 38.5 or 39 when I gave it on the game. But I lost that game on Sunday to the people who called in because it went up to 41. Mm-hmm. That game really came in about a 54. When you think about how many visits that Houston had to the red zone, I believe 6, came away with 16 total points. There was a lot of tough breaks in that game, and from a DVOA standpoint, from an EPA standpoint, really we both came up with 54 points in that one. So you can grade it a loss for the people who got it on a Sunday. It's a win for the people who bet it early in the week. It's one of the things we always talk about. Line value is so important. People don't realize a half point, a point, and a point and a half is a monstrous difference in this business. And, people take it for granted, and I don't think they should. I think they should really take their line seriously.
Look, Paul, Sunday ended up being a gut punch to me, man. I had Dallas, I had Chicago, I had Buffalo, teams that looked like they were cruising toward rocking chair covers, and boy, late in that early window of games, I got blasted, man. It was a bizarre Sunday to see so much transpire the way it did. I don't know where you stood on a lot of those, but man, that was it was certainly an unorthodox Sunday to see everything turn the way it did late.
Well, when you text me on Sunday morning, it was 12:35. Right, I don't know if you remember. You texted me, and I texted you Miami, Cleveland to go over 49, and then I gave you the Giants, Houston over 40.5. You never think to buy a 40.5 down to 40, so I'm not going to beat myself up too much on that. But and then I had Pittsburgh as well, so it was a 2-in-1 day. Plus, I think I mentioned it on the show that I had the under in the Seattle Tampa Bay game. I know I mentioned it to Jimmy Ott. So it was a good day overall for me, but we scuffled, we battled for it. It was a weird day, no question about it. A lot of people out there, a lot of people in public land, the people who are just picking them on their own, did take a haircut this week. The bookies did extremely well if you look at the hold percentages across the nation.
Paul Nolan's with us, freewinners.net. Paul will always give you 6 free plays, 3 college, 3 pro, when you're just starting, so you can text him 313-GET-INFO, 313-GET-INFO, 313-438-4838. 4636. 313-GET-INFO to get your 6 free plays on the weekend. Paul, do you have a play tonight on Thursday Night Football? You talked about the total at DraftKings, who we're affiliated with here. I'm looking at 41 right now. Is there still value on the under at 41?
Yeah, we think the under is still a value in that game. I'm going to stay with it. I don't love it.
Okay.
If it's just an opinion play, I want to share with the audience what I can, but I don't want to force something if the line isn't right. If this was a 42.5, I would be parking my car over on Natchez front lawn and asking if they'll take that as a bet for collateral. So, but it's amazing how that's a huge dip. 42 is a monstrous. 42.5 to really 40.5. It's a big difference in the NFL on a total. Believe it or not, especially in a game that should be a real rugged, run it out, battle for every yard on the field type of game. Because I really do believe that this is going to be both teams really digging in. It's an absolute must-have it for Green Bay. And Tennessee is such a proud bunch who doesn't get the accolades. They're constantly being told that they don't belong 6-3, and they take a lot of pride in it, despite the injuries they're facing. I think they're going to bring a full fist fight to the table here, especially with Green Bay coming off that overtime game on a Thursday. So, but if guys are interested in this game, it's part of the free pick. If they text 313-GET-INFO, they could parlay the total. Again, awesome. 1%, 3%, 5%. It'd be a 1% parlay, 1% on the game, 1% on the total, which is the under. And if they parlay, it would be 1% as well, just for fun. And then I have a lot of good games for Saturday. I have great games for Sunday, and we'll just text you the best bets as we go all weekend long.
Paul, I did want to mention, so I'm looking at DraftKings where you can look at alternate totals, and right now the under of 42 for tonight is at minus 130. So a little bit of juice there, but I mean it seems like that would be value. I mean if you want to buy the under at 42, you got some value there, yeah.
Yeah, I actually like that value. I think that's a good number. And I think 130, while it's a little bit on the pricey side, the fact that if a person in the public was betting and buying lines all the time without like all the around the clock work, they can get themselves chewed up in juice. I just think as we do so much work, we're always so close to the number. Like when we lose a game, we're usually in the game. It's very rare we get blown out of a game. So it makes a little more sense if you're getting it from somebody and a team of guys who are doing their homework around the clock. You could be a little more, I guess, not frivolous, but you can be a little more, freewheeling, I guess, with some, laying some juice if you're really doing the homework with it.
Sure. Hey, Paul, we're short on time. Again, Paul Nolan, freewinners.net. Text the word free. Text the word free to 313-GET-INFO to get your 6 free plays. I did want to ask you your thoughts on Saints-Rams with 2 games we're short on time, but Saints-Rams with Matt Stafford coming out, no Cooper Kupp. I also wanted your thought on what's going to happen there with the Buffalo game moving from Buffalo now to Detroit.
Yeah, well, the Saints-Rams a tough one. I really don't have a great deal on this game right now. Okay. I don't love it. Both teams frustrate. Both teams are a little on the fickle side, to say the least. I mean, the Rams are really showing what they're about. It looks like there's a little bit of a mutiny in that locker room at this point. There's a lot of rumblings that McVay is leaving. There's a lot of rumblings that this entire team is going to start to fall apart. I think the Saints obviously desperately have to have this game if they want to stay relevant, and that division is still available. It's going to take a little bit of a run. I would lean Saints in this one, but I do not love that bet.
Okay.
As for Buffalo, the snow is piling up. My kid plays college hockey up at Brockport, so we canceled our trip. There's already a foot of snow on the ground. The city is starting to shut down. They have to go to Detroit. Then they stay in Detroit because they have the Thanksgiving game there. So it's a little bit interesting. It's going to be. I think that the Buffalo Mafia, the Bills Mafia, will travel for both of these games, and I think they're going to make their presence felt.
All right, Paul Nolan, freewinners.net. Make sure you text the word free to 313-GET-INFO, 313-GET-INFO. That's 313-438-4636. Get your 6 free plays this weekend. Again, Paul's got a lean tonight.
Including tonight.
And Paul's got a lean tonight on the under, which right now DraftKings is at 41. So make sure you text the word free to 313-GET-INFO. Paul, you're the best, man. We appreciate a couple minutes. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, Matt. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.
Looking forward to it next week as well. It's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. We will wrap up hour number 2 with Tigers and the Pros, like we do every single day, all of the days, all of them. Next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings. Y'all, tonight is an awesome night to get by Pluckers, okay? Thursday is all-you-can-eat boneless buffalo bites. So if you love traditional wings, great. If you don't, this is perfect because you get that white meat, breaded, fried, tossed in your favorite wing sauce. All you can eat. And also, on Thursdays, think about everything you have to watch tonight. We mentioned Titans-Packers on Thursday Night Football. You got a full slate of NBA action tonight as well. Colucci's coming up with his hockey picks. How can you not love this night? And, oh, by the way, you've also got SMU and Tulane tonight from Ullman. You need a place to watch. You get by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. It's Pluckers. You don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% with 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Chris Nakamoto. Here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. 24 hours after the WBRZ investigative unit exposed a West Baton Rouge sheriff's employee admitting to stealing money, the sheriff remains silent about his decision to keep her on the payroll. Sources tell the investigative unit $150,000 went missing. Legal experts are weighing in tonight on the message this sends to the rest of the department. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain.
After further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we got to go quickly. Musso, Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, so the XFL draft, that's been happening. If you've missed it, a lot of former Tigers. Wide receiver Jazz Ferguson, he's headed to the D.C. Defenders. Wide receiver Jontre Kirkland, the Houston Roughnecks. Defensive back Kerry Vincent, who's spent some time in the league this year, he's headed to the San Antonio Brahmas. That's the Rock's favorite team. Defensive back Cam Lewis to the Arlington Renegades. Joining him there is defensive tackle Glenn Logan. And you have DB Kevin Tolliver to the Houston Roughnecks. Brad Wing, how about that? Also to the San Antonio Brahmas. That is your XFL draft update. Tari Eason last night with the Houston Rockets, 3 of 5 in 18 minutes of play, totaled up 8 points, 7 rebounds in the game, and also blocked a shot, was perfect from the stripe. Rockets got the win 101-92. And then Naz Reid, not his best night, only 2 minutes, didn't score a point, 1 assist, 1 rebound. Probably should have stayed. That's Tigers in the pros.
Just stayed. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com. Thanksgiving is a week from today. Christmas a little more than a month away. Gentlemen, if you were thinking of popping the question, you know what to do. Go where Baton Rouge has gone to get engaged for 40 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. All right, hour number 3, Mike Triplett in about 20 minutes. Don't you move, it's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about the Williamson Eye Center. Give them a buzz, 924-2020. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. There's a lot of things I can tell you. I can sit there and tell you about your HSA and FSA dollars, and if you have them, you can use them on LASIK, but you got to use them before the end of the year. I could tell you a lot of different things. I could sit here and rattle off success stories and why you should call and how this great athlete like Devin White or whomever it may be, Caleb on Chasson, John Emery, have all had their LASIK done at the Williamson Eye Center. I did as well. But the most basic level is anyone that wears glasses or contacts, you understand what it's like to not be able to see. I lived that life for 35 years of my life. No more. It is life-changing to open your eyes in the morning and be able to see. And the Williamson Eye Center makes that happen. Book your appointment. 924.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
3 people walk into a bar. The first 2 order the same old margs. The third, Nuevo Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer. Crafted with real lime juice and a crisp tequila flavor. Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance.
available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Sunday's Browns-Bills game has officially been moved by the NFL to Detroit at 1 Eastern due to the forecast of heavy snow in Buffalo this weekend. NFL Week 11 does start tonight when the Packers host the Titans. The last time the teams met, Green Bay won by 26 at Lambeau Field 2 years ago. Don't expect another blowout tonight, believes Titans radio network analyst and four-time Pro Bowler Lane Bishop.
I think that's really what's going to happen in this game. I think whatever quarterback, and you got to lean towards Aaron Rodgers being with his resume, can make more plays, are going to win this game. Naturally, both teams are going to try to run the football. That travels well, even in bad weather, but I think this is going to be a close one. It's going to come down to the wire.
Lane Bishop on Barton Hahn. Eagles have responded to the struggles of their run D in the absence of injured rookie Jordan Davis. Philadelphia signed defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh to a one-year deal. He's the second defensive tackle Philly has signed in back-to-back days. NBA Clipper star Kawhi Leonard could return from a knee issue tonight against the Pistons. He has been upgraded to questionable for the game.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. A big shout out to my friends over at the Sunrise Rotary. They were kind enough to invite me to join them this morning to speak to their group. Great group, and I really enjoyed the fellowship, the conversation this morning. So a lot of great civic groups doing awesome things for our communities. So happy to support them and glad to have been invited today. Mike Triplett. In 12 minutes from right now, if you have not heard, Matt Stafford expected to play against the New Orleans Saints. He has cleared concussion protocol. So the Saints certainly don't catch a break there. But we will talk about it all with Triplett coming up here in just a few minutes. Last week, we went through Mel Kiper's big board, his updated big board. And not only the big board, but the top-rated prospects at each position, and kind of told you why it bode well for LSU, potentially get a lot of players back next year. And, again, that's just one man's opinion. So I tend to say, okay, is there validation elsewhere? Like, are other people who cover this closely suggesting the same thing? Well, Todd McShay put up his updated prospect rankings for the upcoming draft, so his top 32 prospects, and then the top 5 at each position. He does have an LSU player in the top 32 prospects, and it's B.J. Ojulari. That might be surprising to some. Kayshon Boutte was in everybody's top 10. This year hasn't gone for Kayshon like certainly he hoped and many of us thought it might. But for BJ, this is an awesome illustration of a guy continuing to ascend, right? Came here during the COVID year, had a really nice freshman year, and despite not having great team success the first 2 years, played well, stuck it out, and now in this, his junior year, he's going back to his home state there in Georgia, going to play for an SEC championship against the University of Georgia, and is really lining up to be a first-round draft pick, which is awesome to see. So congrats to B.J. Ojulari on an awesome season. Stay healthy these next few games. Have a great pre-combine, combine, pro day, all that stuff. Go be your first-round pick and make all your dreams come true. I have no doubt that when Kayshon Boutte goes and meets with teams and runs for the clock and does the combine and all that stuff, his draft stock will elevate. Kayshon's going to be back in first-round conversation. I believe Kayshon and BJ will both be first-round picks in this spring's draft. After that, everything gets hairy. Mentioned to you last week that Kuiper has Jaden Daniels as the 9th best quarterback available in the draft. There's some other players mixed in. Jaquelin Roy's kind of down the list on defensive tackles. But there isn't much. And it keeps bringing me back to this point that, man, I really think you're going to have a conversion of circumstance that's going to lead LSU to potentially having the best roster in college football next year. I don't want to be presumptive, and I certainly don't want to jump the gun and be hyperbolic. But I'm looking at a team right now that arrived more quickly than anybody thought it would. Me included. I had this team at 8-4. I thought they'd be 4-4 in the league, 8-4 overall, and you'd see Brian Kelly build. But he has seen that sort of flow chart just continue on an upward trajectory throughout this season. They have gotten better. They were better in October than they were in September. They're better in November than they were in October, and hopefully they're better in December than they are right now. But when I look at what you have coming back, you're going to return your starting 5 offensive linemen, actually your first 6 if you include Dellinger and Miles Frazier. Your first 6 offensive linemen are coming back. Your starting tight end is right now a freshman in Mason Taylor, who is the personification of what I just described of getting better. I mean, he's the guy who was known in season opener for whiffing on the block PAT against Florida State. Then against Bama, he's catching the game winner and a touchdown. Mason Taylor's back. Malik Neighbors, Jack Besh, Brian Thomas, Kyron Lacey, Chris Hilton, all back at receiver, and you're going to add to that group. At running back, you're going to get potentially everybody back at running back, and then supplement with 2 really good freshmen coming in. Defensive line, Mekhi Wingo's back. You're going to get Mason Smith healthy. Let's see what happens with Roy and Guillory. You could get all those guys back and then supplement with young guys behind them. You're losing Ali Gay, you're losing B.J. Ojulari, but my goodness, Savion Jones has been awesome. Quincy Wiggins hasn't played at all this year because of the foot injury. You're going to get him next year. Xavier Carter has been good. Need I even mention Harold Perkins? If you want to count him as an end or a linebacker, the jack, whatever it may be, he's been incredible. Yeah, you're losing Baskerville. You're going to lose Mike Jones, but man, Greg Penn's back. Harold Perkins is back. You've seen a ton of DeMario Tolan. And listen, quietly, I don't know if you noticed this. Now, I would challenge you this on this weekend, Saturday. Pay attention on defense, how many times 32 is on the field. DeMario Tolan had back surgery, and so it delayed his progress this year. But DeMario Tolan is playing more and more, and Brian Kelly even said this earlier this week, that they challenged Greg Penn. They said, look, Young Buck is coming for you. You better step it up. What did Greg Penn do? Had his best game of the year. Led the team in tackles. And Tolan still played a ton. So linebacker, you're going to be really good. I think they're set at nickel and safety. Greg Brooks, it looks like he's coming back. Sage Ryan is there. You are going to be super talented. You're going to have to go address some spots in the portal. And we've talked about this. You're losing Mekhi Gardner. You're losing Bernard Converse. You're losing Colby Richardson. The only two corners you had back were Darius Jones, Demarius McGee. Neither has played this year. Word is they're ineligible. You signed two cornerbacks last year, including LaTerrence Welch. So you are going to have to go hit the transfer portal for corners. Now, Sevyn Banks likely is coming back. So if he's healthy, you may have a stud veteran guy there, but you're going to have to hit the portal there. I've been told they're likely going to look for some offensive line depth in the portal and likely maybe an edge player. But this roster, y'all, in particular if you get Jaden Daniels back, we've talked about Senior Day being this weekend against UAB, and they're going to honor 17 players, and a lot of them are names you've heard a bunch over the years. Todd Harris, who's battled injuries but has persevered, and it's going to be awesome to honor him. Jay Ward has been a really good player. Jeray Jenkins has had some huge catches, had the game winner against A&M a year ago. Ali Gay, who we've talked about. Micah Baskerville, who just has been the heart and soul of the defense. Cam Wire, who has played a bunch, has sort of rotated different sides of the ball, but sort of lost his spot. Then you got the transfers. Mike Jones, Colby Richardson, Jark Bernard Converse, Joe Fouché, Mekhi Gardner are all going to be honored. Jay Ward, who's a fourth-year guy who could come back as a super senior. It looks like he's going to go. Don't blame him at all. But the bigger story is the guys that aren't going to be honored on Senior Day. The guys who are essentially telling you, I think I'm going to come back. Guys that would be eligible to leave that aren't participating in Senior Day. Guys like Sevyn Banks. Looks like he's going to come back. He's probably starting corner next year. Tremont Shorts, from the transfer from East Tennessee State. He'll come back next year for a super senior season. Greg Brooks. How impactful has Greg Brooks been this year? Safety, nickel, whatever it may be. He's been awesome. Jay Bramblett, the punter. Looks like he's coming back. John Emery, 4 years, could very easily go pro and try his look, missed a year and 2 games. Would be totally understandable if he said, you know what, man, I'm just going to call it a career and go. Looks like he may be coming back as well. You're going to get all those guys back, plus the underclassmen who I just ran through, and you're going to add what's already the 4th-ranked class in college football, and not done yet. And I'm here to tell you, when the transfer portal window opens, and that's December the 5th, the day after the playoff rankings are revealed, and I'm going to tell you LSU's going to be active. And there are some highly touted players. While coaches can't tamper, coaches can't go recruit other players on other rosters, there's nothing to stop a dude on LSU's roster from making a phone call to a buddy who he played high school football with, was on the camp circuit, took recruiting visits with, and said, hey, we got something special going on at LSU over here. Come join us. I think that's going to happen, too. And then the big one, obviously, is Jaden Daniels. Can you get Jaden back for another year? If all of that happens, y'all, I'm telling you, LSU is preseason top 10. They are on a lot of people's lists of college football favorites. And Jaden Daniels, a Heisman Trophy candidate early in the season. You are talking about the potential recreation of the scenario from 2019. Now, let me stop you. I'm not saying they're going to be the greatest offense ever and the greatest college football team ever. What I mean is a team that very clearly in 2018 was on the ascent. Got a whole bunch of guys back. The guys that played a bunch and grew in 18 hit their pinnacle in 19, and you supplemented with some great freshmen. Derek Stingley among them. We know the names. And you won a natty. It's not far-fetched to think, I'm not saying they're going to be the best team ever. Don't misunderstand me. But just as far as the scenario, getting a bunch of dudes to return, supplement your veterans with a lot of experience with freshmen coming in, and now some transfers, you're talking about a potential really special 2023 if you get all these guys back. We're going to see it. Honor the guys that are going to be recognized on senior night, but pay attention to the guys that are choosing not to participate because they're coming back hungry for more, and that's pretty awesome. All right, it's after further review. Mike Triplett talking some Saints. When we come back, it's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. What a week it's been. Last week, we told you Gordon did a deal with Jaden Daniels. Of course, you know he's already done a deal with Harold Perkins. Earlier this week, we told you about the deal that Gordon did with Josh Williams. And then it was Mason Taylor. And today, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys has announced they are now partnered with B.J. Ojulari. That's right. B.J., part of the Get Gordon G team. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, B.J. Ojulari Jr., Jack linebacker, who has been awesome not only this year but throughout his career and so deserving of this. So, man, Gordon has done a phenomenal job taking care of these Tiger players through the NIL opportunities. They've done a great job representing themselves, LSU, and now Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured, you know, get Gordon, get it done. 888-8888, 888-8888, or getgordon.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Mike!
Yeah?
Saints coverage with some Mad Libs mixed in.
Why don't you just go by Mike?
It's time to talk black and gold with Mike Triplett of New Orleans Football. Presented by Benny's Car Wash. Family owned and operated since 1951.
I mean, you just want to let it play a little bit? I'm going to let it play. You only left 10 seconds on the tail, Muse? What in the world?
It's like 30, but you were letting it play.
What in the world? Put it on a loop, brother.
The song has to that's the end of the song. Like, it eventually runs out.
Put it on a loop, brother. Loop means it just starts over. All right, Mike Triplett's with us. Mike, how are you?
Is it Sometimes I Dream That He Is Me?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Sometimes I dream.
What else is there? What else we got? Because they're all
He is
applying to me so far. I want to know if the whole thing applies.
I mean to be. Boom, 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 boom. Sometimes I dream. Let's see. Hang on. Let me do Be Like Mike lyrics. Be Like Mike lyrics. It's funny, Mike. You know, you do this as a
Something
kid.
about it'd be better if they were 7 and 3. Is that?
Oh, here it is. Here it is. No. I would. Yes, 7 and 3 would be amazing. Here you go. Sometimes I dream that he is me. You got to see that's how I dream to be. Dream I move, dream I groove, like Mike, like to be like Mike. There it is. Got it.
All right.
What do you think?
That's applicable. The one thing we've nailed this season. We're getting our job done.
Mike Triplett is with us from New Orleans Football. Follow him on Twitter at Mike Triplett. Mike, let me look. Hat tip. Obviously, you had an exclusive, a one-on-one with Jameis, which got a ton of attention last week. So, if I could just ask, how did that all come about?
Well, yeah, I just approached him in the locker room and asked him if he was willing to talk, and I think he was in the mood to talk. I mean, I had approached him a few times in the past. We've talked briefly after some games in the locker room a couple other days. He said, I'll get you guys next week or something. So just got him on the right day. But, I'm not going to put words into his mouth why he wanted to talk. But one thing that really stood out to me, it was a great conversation. And I know some people plucked out some things that seemed controversial where maybe him and the team are at odds. And yeah, a little bit. I think he's disappointed with how things have played out, but it was not a controversial interview, but it was a really honest and candid one. And the one thing he said many times was how much he regrets pushing to play and playing against Tampa Bay in week 2 and hurting himself worse because he wanted to play that game so bad and he wanted to be this team's quarterback so bad. He wanted to fight through it. And he's acutely aware that going out there and playing against Tampa Bay and playing poorly and throwing what he said were the worst deep balls of his life, he said, if you go out on the field, you're 100%. And he said, I put bad tape out there, and I'm going to be judged by what I put out there. And he's well aware how many chances he has left to be a starter in the NFL. I thought that was really interesting. So I think he knows that it's important for everyone to know everything he was dealing with, that he was not 100%, why he was so passionate about playing when he was not 100%, and where he stands now. Because whether he likes it or not, he knows that he's going to be judged on this season, and time's running short on this season.
How healthy is Jameis right now?
That is such a strange question because I think they all talked about that this week, internally and with Jameis Winston. And the conclusion that was reached was not healthy enough to start and give them a better chance to win or to not risk further injury behind this porous offensive line or whatever it was. I definitely think his health played a role in the decision. Now, he has been healthy enough for 4 weeks now that he is not on the injury report anymore because he's practicing fully, and he's been active 3 games in a row now as the number 2 backup. And if Andy Dalton got hurt on the first play, then Jameis would play the rest of the game. So healthy, but, he said definitely not 100%. Not only did he have the fractures in his back in week 1, but he also tore a tendon in his foot in week 2. And that one is probably the one that has affected his mobility the most and is going to take the most time to recover. So he probably won't be 100% healthy all season. He'll probably be better a month from now than he is now. But healthy enough to be back playing for this team on the active roster, but not healthy enough that it's a clear decision for this team to say he would go out there and look like himself and be able to protect himself. So somewhere in between.
Mike, this might be a question where I'm just asking your opinion, or maybe you know.
Yeah.
Is Dennis Allen falling on the sword for Jameis, or is he being truthfully misleading? I don't want to say lying. Is he being truthfully, or is he being intentionally misleading about Jameis's health?
No, now this is me piecing together a lot of clues and not knowing everything. But I think this is one of the things that is not as controversial as it was made out to be last week. Dennis Allen said when he sort of officially named Andy Dalton his starter indefinitely, Dennis Allen said, Jameis Winston, somebody said, is this just until Jameis Winston is back healthy? And he said, Jameis Winston is back healthy now. But we like the direction of our offense, and we're going to stick with Andy Dalton as long as our offense continues to play well. So that was true in the sense that Jameis Winston was back. The same way, actually we're seeing the exact same thing in Washington right now. I just noticed Carson Wentz has returned to practice, but Ron Rivera said they're going to stick with Taylor Heineke. Like, if this was a Drew Brees situation where doctors have now cleared him to, return to the field, Drew Brees would have been back in there right away, even if he was only 70% healthy. So Dennis Allen didn't necessarily claim Jameis Winston is 100% healthy, but he did come out and sort of declare Jameis Winston is healthy enough to play again, but I am choosing to go with Andy Dalton over him. And in some ways, that was stupid of Dennis Allen to have to make such a declarative statement because it alienates Jameis Winston a little bit. It marries Dennis Allen to Andy Dalton, and Andy Dalton hasn't played well. So now that was Allen's choice. But in some ways, you sort of, in the media, we respect that Dennis Allen said it. He was not starting Andy Dalton just because Jameis was unavailable. He was choosing to start Andy Dalton. So I think we kind of understand all of that. But there was no point where Dennis Allen claimed Jameis Winston was 100% healthy. I always interpreted it as healthy enough to play, and we're choosing not to put him back in there yet. I do think if he was 100% healthy, he'd be back there by now, though.
Well, that's interesting. Mike, do you believe Jameis Winston has a future with the New Orleans Saints? And again, just your opinion.
It seems highly unlikely because it feels like this thing could be headed toward mutual divorce. Obviously, Dennis Allen doesn't seem to have a lot of faith in Jameis Winston. They tried to move on to Deshaun Watson. He quickly moved on to Andy Dalton when Andy Dalton strung a couple good games together. So it doesn't seem to be a lot of faith in Winston on that end. It certainly doesn't seem like Winston can probably have a lot of belief that his coach believes in him here. But the great wild card in all this is, are we going to see 4 or 5 games of Jameis Winston at the end of this season? And that could change where everybody stands. I mean, if they don't let him play again this year, it's hard to imagine they'd bring him back next year. But I would predict that we are still going to see a small sample size of Winston at some point before the season is over.
I agree. And after the bye would make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
And then you'd have
If not sooner, yeah.
You'd have, 3 months of Jameis getting healthier for the opportunity to play at peak
And he's under contract for next year. I mean, it's going to cost him a lot of money to cut him early. So, I mean, they would love for him. They would love for that confidence to be renewed on both sides. They'd love to see him play great in December and bring him back as the starter next year. That's the most ideal scenario. It just feels like a long shot one right now.
He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football. Our conversations with Mike here every Thursday brought to you by Benny's Car Wash, where you can get unlimited washes for as low as $14.99 a month. Unlimited washes for $15 a month. It's crazy. We appreciate our friends over at Benny's for bringing us our convo with Mike. Mike, let's turn the page to this weekend against the Rams, who have their own issues. I mean, a couple of 3-win football teams right now. Do you like the matchup for New Orleans?
No, not the current state of New Orleans. Look, I the story I wrote last week, a week ago, I can't remember, I might have published it right before I went on the air with you or right after, was just what a shame the injury report was. Like, we thought we were going to see the second half of this season where the Saints finally had some semblance of health, and then maybe we'd figure out if there was an actual team here to get excited about. And then they had this stretch of games, winnable games, especially last week at Pittsburgh, a reeling team they should have been able to beat up on, and now a reeling Rams team that's injured too. But then all these new injuries come up. They're missing 3 offensive linemen, and we saw that they couldn't gain a first down to save their lives. They couldn't get a 3rd and 5 or shorter to save their lives against Pittsburgh, and now they're going against Aaron Donald with 2 healthy offensive linemen. I just don't know. I think Aaron Donald's going to wreak havoc on this team. So the other side of the ball, yeah, obviously Matthew Stafford is just coming back from missing a week with the concussion. It looks like he's going to play, but he's not going to have Cooper Kupp. The Rams have not been able to run the ball all year long. But, there's still no Marshawn Lattimore. We might not see Cam Jordan or Marcus Davenport in this game. Still no Pete Werner. I mean, what are we even talking about matchups for? The Saints can barely field a functional team right now.
Which continues to point, and it's odd, Mike. I mean, I'd love to sit here and break down the Saints-Rams with you, but it's 2 3-win football teams, and it's kind of inconsequential. And I asked you last week, if the Saints are playing for the future, what does that look like? And we had that sort of conversation, but is that where we are right now, where we're really just evaluating for their final 7 games? Is Dennis Allen going to be the coach next year? And what's the? Yeah. But Mike, what would be the evidence to suggest that he would be the guy you'd want to proceed with moving forward?
Well, I think Dennis Allen is sort of married to a overall plan, which is bring back this culture and bring back a large portion of this roster and try to do it again when healthy. That was obviously the plan that they had this year. That's why they hired Dennis Allen and why they kept pretty much the entire coaching staff and roster intact, because they love their culture and they had 5 straight winning seasons before this. So that's what's at stake. Is if I think Dennis Allen, the only way Dennis Allen, I think, is a one-and-done coach is if the Saints just decide, let's take a whole new approach. Let's go back to 2006 and let's have 20-plus new players next year, a wholly new coaching staff next year, and let's kind of reset this thing a little bit. I think that's all at stake. Now, the other thing that could cost Dennis Allen his job is if the team totally quits on him, and if they're going up to the front office and saying they don't feel like, they don't like the way he treats them, or, we haven't seen signs of that yet, but it's also reaching rock bottom right now, and that's the kind of thing that could happen. Up until 2 weeks ago, they were 1 game out of first place, and this division felt winnable. Now they're going to go through 8 weeks without a lot of hope, and that's when the cracks turn into something bigger if it's going to happen. So all that is really at stake, as depressing as that sounds.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, it is worth noting, obviously, though, even winning a division as bad as this doesn't mean you're close to a championship.
No.
But yes. I know we're short on time here, and there is a really good piece up at NewOrleans.football right now that Nick did, looking at the salary cap, and is it rebuild or try to win now? That's up there right now at NewOrleans.football. You also post a video of Trevor Penning at practice. Are we going to see him this week or soon?
This week would surprise me, although it's not completely out of the question. Maybe he starts to make a cameo as the 6th offensive lineman or something, because we did see him actually practicing this week. But, I mean, they opened his 3-week window last week. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a belief that he's getting close. Yeah. Okay. I did think when he came back it would be as the 6th offensive lineman, but that was before James Hurst got the concussion. They might be on the same timetable. So we'll see. But that would be something to look forward to, is to watch his development over the last few weeks. I mean, the young guys have been the most the most positive part of this season.
Yeah, I don't mean to laugh, obviously, for Hurst having a concussion. It's just the unintentional comedy of the whole thing of what the season has become. All right, exactly. Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football. Of course, our conversations with Mike here every Thursday are brought to you by Benny's Car Wash, Benny'sCarWash.com, Benny'sCarWash.com. You can join the Benny's Car Wash membership. Unlimited washes for as low as $14.99 per month. Learn more at bennyscarwash.com or get to the Benny's Car Wash near you. Mike Triplett at neworleans.football. Mike, we appreciate it, man. Thanks as always.
Thank you.
All right, man. Be well. It is After Further Review, brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-zerousa.com. You can get onto the website, check it out. I tell you all the time about Jim Woodworth and the gang over at Mold Zero. God, they do great work. It's just, normally when you think about mold, you think, man, you're cutting sheetrock. You got to cut the mold out of there. That's just not the reality any longer. Mold Zero has a patented, non-toxic dry fog treatment where they'll come into the home, they'll spray the fog, let it dwell for about 45 minutes. Then you just wait for the fog to dissipate. And you go back into a home where the mold is killed, other pathogens are killed. It smells clean and fresh, home, office, whatever it may be. They recently sprayed the church at St. Teresa in Gonzales. There was mold on the ceiling there at the church. No more. It's beautiful, clean smelling, and completely safe for all the parishioners. It's Mold Zero. Mold-Zero-USA.com. Mold-Zero-USA.com. Servicing the greater Baton Rouge and greater New Orleans areas. Go to the website, get the phone number for Baton Rouge and New Orleans. It's Mold Zero, Mold-Zero USA. Okay, it's After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. I'll give you a preview here of Thursday Night Football. Otter Locks in about 12 minutes from right now. Ton to do. Glad you're here, AFR.
AFR.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit. We get it done with passion for our fans and love for our community. We are the Tigers. Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards. which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Thursday night football tonight, both NFL and college. College, you got SMU at Tulane. Ullman will host Thursday night football tonight on ESPN. A really good NFL game with the Packers hosting the Titans. Paul Nolan, who was with us last hour, likes the under in that game. Said there was real value at 42. DraftKings has it at 41 right now. So a small play on the under if you can get it at 41 right now from Paul. We'll see what the Otters got here in just a few minutes from right now. Hey, remember about Shoots Electric, CESofLA.com, CESofLA.com. I was reminded over the weekend, we had all that terrible rain that came through in the cold weather. We lost power. Like in our neighborhood, we lose power all the time. But what happened? Generator from Shoots powered right on. Power came right back. Never be stuck in the dark, in the cold, or in the hurricane season, in the sweltering heat. Shoots Electric home standby generators. Call Shoots today. Have them install a Generac home standby generator. Power your whole home. Power goes out. Your generator from Shoots goes to work, and boom, you are powered like nothing ever happened. Remember, 24/7, 365 service as well, because power outages are not a 9-to-5 thing. That's Shoots Electric, CESofLA.com for Shoots Electric. We've talked a lot about the NFL and college games tonight, but also you got college basketball. LSU Hoops, Matt McMahon back on the floor tonight against UNO, 7 o'clock at the PMAC. Here was Matt McMahon previewing not only this game, but talking about the challenge of bringing like a collection of new players that haven't played together to make them whole.
As far as work ethic and buy-in and the things that have to be the foundation of your program, I'm pleased with where we're at now. I still think there's a lot of room for growth there. Everyone knows we're a collection of new players trying to come together and form a team, and we're not there yet. And we have a long way to go, and I think that'll be, really at the end of the day, more so than strategies and schemes, will determine what kind of season we can have.
I could not agree with him more. And the thing that's pretty clear watching this LSU basketball team so far through a couple of games, not really locking in and peeling back the onion, but it's just realizing they don't have great depth. And that's probably not a great surprise, but Adam Miller's a great player. KJ Williams is a great player. I mean, he was the reigning Ohio Valley Player of the Year. There are guys on this team that are really good. And Wani Wilkinson is a really good 3-and-D guy. What you don't have is 7, 8, 9 guys that you trust that are going to go help you win games. And that lack of depth is probably what's going to cost this team this year. But like we've seen with football, you would love to see Matt McMahon and this staff coach him up, get him playing better throughout the year. And I'll tell you right now that if in year one under Matt McMahon, he can do effectively what Will Wade did in year one in a similar transitional year, and that is approach 500 in conference play and get to the postseason, even if it's the NIT, that would be a massive win for Matt McMahon in year one. So this is going to be a process, and a lot of people are going to have to be patient with them this year, but today's another step. They got UNO at the Maravich Center. See if the Tigers can get to 3-0. All right, it is after further review. Thursday night football tonight. Titans and Packers Muse. Have you made a decision yet?
Well, I haven't. Not necessarily on the spread, but I told you I played the under, and then Paul came on and was like, under is the lean. So, I feel pretty good about that, even at 41. But
Mike D's angle?
Yeah, look, I've been producing this show since, I don't know, like February of 19, and I've heard that angle a lot.
Yeah, you left for a while.
On and off. Fair. On and off.
Yeah.
But for the majority of it, I've been right here. So I've heard that angle enough that, and I've hit with it enough that the hook just bothers me.
I don't care. And you know what? I even went to DraftKings, and I went to the alternate spreads, and I went down to 3, and I was like, nope, not doing it.
Okay. You're just ride or die.
Ride or die, brother. Like, rocking chair tonight.
Okay.
Go, Pack, go. I'm in.
I'm going to wait for Otter.
Not worried about what the Otter has to say. You know what I want from the Otter?
Oh, I know what you want from Otter.
Now, let me tell you something right now.
I'd like those too.
Let me tell you something right now here, friend. Colucci last week, and I'm going to tell you real quick. Otter's going to, if Colucci has an early game, but you got to stay tuned to Jimmy's show because at 6:30, Colucci goes on, and it'll give you his pick for the late NHL games. And last week, he gave us one here and then two here and then one with Otter. And the one with Otter is the one that I went like super ham on, and he went 1-1 on these picks, but now that was it went 2-1. Huge. I'm telling you,
he's a ringer.
I wonder, and I don't know enough about gambling and stuff to know, but like my assumption is it's one of those things where because the NHL doesn't generate that much of a handle, the odds makers probably get a little sloppy where they don't have to be so locked in like they are with everything in NFL or college football. That, man, you get a guy like that comes in and he's that dude. He's going to win a lot. Colucci wins a lot on the NHL, man. It's unbelievable. We need some Colucci picks. By the way, Thursday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers here talking about the Titans defense, which has been pretty darn impressive of late.
They're pretty sound. They play really hard. They got like 29 sacks, 3 guys with 5+ sacks. They're number 1 in the league in third down, top 10 in the red zone. There's not a lot of big holes out there. They obviously, played good against Denver, held them at 10 points. They're a tough team. They got some great players up front. Stout guys in the middle. Simmons is a baller. Real good guys off the edge. Solid inside at linebacker. The back end plays really well together. So it's a toughness that Mike brings.
Tannehill, obviously back for Tennessee. You got Derrick Henry there. But the angle that I was alluding to there with Muse is that the starting center for Tennessee is Altine. It's Ben Jones. Ben Jones was an Ole Miss guy, wasn't he? He was the starting center. You can look it up.
He was definitely an SEC guy.
I am 97.8% positive Ben Jones was the Ole Miss center who played a just ton of football.
Georgia Bulldogs.
God dog it.
It was definitely SEC,
God
but
dog
Ole Miss
it.
didn't sound right. Fourth rounder.
Who was the center at Ole Miss for a bajillion years that I can't remember then? All right. We'll figure that out in the break. We'll come back, and we'll talk to the Otter so Muse can finally make his play on this game instead of being a namby-pamby. Just make a decision, friend.
There's money at stake.
Make your decision, friend. It's AFR.
AFR.
All right, y'all. 1 week from today is Thanksgiving. I mean, you know that. You got a calendar. 1 week from today is Thanksgiving. And a lot of people right now are thinking, we got Cousin Eddie coming in. We got Grandpa Clark coming in. We got all these people coming in. Mother-in-law is going to yell at me for smoking a cigarette in the kitchen. Not me, but, in Christmas vacation. Why cook? Don't worry about it. Let Rouse's take care of it. Rouse's can take care of your whole holiday dinner. You want to take care of things? You want the turkey, the ham, all of the sides. Rouse's will do all of it. It's heat and eat. Make Thanksgiving easier. Don't crush yourself trying to prepare the entire Thanksgiving meal. Let Rouse's do it for you. Go to Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. They can take care of your entire Thanksgiving dinner. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime, Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. One thing left to do. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, incomparable, often incomprehensible, the Oddfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing good, Matt. It's very decorative over here. I feel like Will Ferrell's about to come out the wall somewhere around here.
I love smiling. Smiling's my favorite. Hey, I know we got Colucci, we got college football, we got NFL. I love this time of year. What are we looking at?
All right, Colucci has Montreal, the Canadians. What are you showing on them?
I'm looking at minus 105. We're going money line, yep.
Yes.
All right,
yes.
Montreal minus 105.
And the Dallas Stars.
Dallas, we're looking at plus 135. So we like the underdog there.
Yeah.
Dallas
is Montreal early. 1-1 on your show, came back with one more pick that won 2 out of 3 last week. He'll be on at 6:30 again. talking about the late slate.
Hey, man, the one he won on our show last week, they won 7-2. And the one he gave on your show, I hammered. I can't remember which one it was, Otter, but they got up 5-1 or something.
It's 5-3 was the fine.
Well, he gave it as a puck line play, and they were up 5-1, and then ended up cruising down the stretch, but hit. So yeah, Colucci in that NHL, man, he's on it. All right, so Montreal and Denver, and Colucci's on with Otter in about 35 minutes. So make sure you're tuned into that. All right, Otter, what about football tonight?
All right, I like Tulane small. I think that Central Florida, and I had Central Florida last week. I've been kind of on the right side of Tulane this year. Central Florida's, they're the best team, but Malzahn has 2 quarterbacks. John Plumlee has thrown the best, so I'm coming back with Tulane small tonight. But I like the NFL game more. I don't think all of the problems are resolved with Green Bay, but I think that some of them are, especially the running game where they rushed for over 200 yards last week. Tennessee, of their 9 games, they've outgained their opponent one time, and that was the Houston Texans. So they'll certainly load the box to try and get Henry before he gets going. Always a tough spot on the road for the road team in these games. Looking at 3 out there. There's some 3.5s too, but find 3 if you can. But I like Green Bay tonight. It's my best bet.
Otter Locks. Otter follows us at Jolie Pearl. Thank you, Otter.
All right, thank you, Matt.
Have a great show. Muse, Paulie, thanks. See you tomorrow.
AFR.
Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name brand tires at wholesale prices. You know where to find them. It's at ShawbillsTire.com with 17 locations across the greater Baton Rouge area. Not just Baton Rouge, but look, they started in Morgan City back in 1968. Came up to Baton Rouge. They've gone west over into West Baton Rouge toward Lafayette, even in Ascension, Livingston Parish. That's right, in Denham. You got your own Shawbills now as well. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name brand tires at wholesale prices. That's the thing that's most important. These aren't just like cheap knockoff tires. This is Bridgestone, Firestone, Michelin, BF Goodrich, name brand tires, the best tires on the road at wholesale prices. Cheaper than the membership clubs, cheaper than the box stores, cheaper than other tire stores. Shawbills. They'll find a way to use the best tires for the cheapest price possible, and they'll keep you coming back year after year because they treat you like family. It's Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in